Welcome to Taking Care of Business on News Talk 1180 KERN for the absolute best in Saturday Talk Radio at 1 o'clock and on 1230 KGEO at 10 o'clock Saturday, and for the best in Wednesday Talk Radio on 1410 KERI, the Christian station. We're now on 1000 KKIM in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and also 3 times on the internet on knookmedia.com, serving Richmond, Oakland, and the San Francisco Bay Area. Plus, you can catch any of our shows for the last 4 years. Can you believe, Clay, it's been 4 years?
4 long years.
On the internet at Clay and Marty Show. Your host is Clay Koerner, and I'm Marty Pay, and our incredible producer is Greg Held. Hey, Clay, that was a great show last week with my old buddy Brian Johnston, the regional director for the National Right to Life and the director of Life Fest.
It's going to be an interesting show down there in Hollywood, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it's May 8th to May 11th, and what they do is they look at pro-family, not necessarily Christian, but just happy, pro-life, pro-family films. And they have their own film fest for 3 days.
Films from all over the world.
Yes, and there's a lot of Kevin Sobo.
Yeah, the actor.
The actor, yeah, he's involved, and some other pro-family actors in Hollywood. And also, our second guest was Kelly, talking about the Honor Flight Gala, which we're going to be involved in this weekend.
Tonight.
Actually, it is tonight because we're broadcasting on Friday, but it'll be on the air on Saturday.
We're broadcasting on Saturday. We're recording on Friday.
This is true. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up.
Just like your names, you get mixed up.
Ooh,
you get names and days mixed up.
Are you going to pick on me today?
All day.
Is it going to be that kind of day today?
All day. You and our guests later on.
For anybody who wants to go to the event tonight, the phone number to call is 661-221-1819. I'm going to be the auctioneer tonight, and I got a feeling that Clay's going to give me a hard time, but that's just part of life.
You know, I got to tell you one quick story about auctions. One time, Tina and I were at a fraternity party, and they were auctioning off a bunch of stuff, and I was the auctioneer, and there's one thing I really wanted, so I bid on it, and then Tina bid against me.
What?
I said, "What are you doing?" Couldn't believe it.
Why? Well, never mind. I was going to say, why am I not surprised? Well, you've got a special song you want to start the program with.
Yeah, I want to start the show with a special song. This is a song called "The American Way," written by a local writer. Written by
you silly wabbit. Twixer for kids.
Written by a local songwriter here in Bakersfield called Cindy Brown, and sung by a local artist, Mark Madwell. Maestro.
Fed up with your government, and it's time that I had my say. I'm sick and tired of working my fingers to the bone while you throw my money away. You give aid to foreign countries when we can't feed our poor. And this train wreck you call healthcare is causing an uproar. It's time to find our people jobs, restore their self-esteem so they can live the American dream. Will you stand with me, brother? Will you stand with me, sister? And we'll restore America's pride. I'm smart enough to know I can't do this by myself. I'm gonna need you right by my side. And we'll ask the man upstairs if he'll bless us with his favor and guide us as we face a new day. We'll get back to living in the land that we love. We'll do it the American way. Yeah, we'll do it the American way.
Okay, well, that was an impressive song. And why did you want us to play that song? I'm just curious.
It fits in today with our guest.
Ah, okay.
Plus, it's a great song. It's going to be out, produced and published and on the internet, as well as produced by, hopefully, a record company. It will be out for national sales in the future.
It is a great song.
And Cindy's a great writer. She's got several songs out there. Mark did a great job this morning at our meeting, and I'm just looking forward to this thing going up.
Going national. And, you know, you can say they got their start here on the Clay and Marty Show.
That's right. Got started on the Clay and Marty Show here in Bakersfield, California.
Bakersfield, California.
The Bakersfield Sound. Who's our guest?
Who's our guest? We have a guest for the hour that's one of our favorite guests. Somebody I love having on. It's our own state senator, Jean Fuller. Jean, welcome to Taking Care of Business.
Hello. Good to be with you again.
It's always a pleasure to have you in studio.
It's good to be with who? Marty or Clay?
Well, Clay, I loved your hat, so we'll start with that.
Okay. What's the hat say on it? It says, keep calm, frack on.
What? Excuse me? I'm sorry.
Frack on. It's for oil.
Oh, for fracking.
It's black, too.
Yes. Okay, there you go. So, Jean, tell us, we've actually spent some time with you a couple of weeks ago. Tell us what's going on in Sacramento.
Well, this is the time when I call it whack-a-mole month because it's the end of the 2-year period and all of the bills that nobody could pass because they were so bad, they all go sort of in the bar, the back room, or someplace together, and they all trade like baseball cards, and they all agree to vote for each other's bad bill if you'll agree to vote for this bad bill, because even their best friend won't vote for it. And then they come up, and you have to whack-a-mole. They're just coming out all over the place with new votes and new ways to frame it. So a lot of surprises and a lot of really bad bills.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately. Yeah, and you can see it this time of year. I mean, there's a ton of them going through at one time.
Yes, because at the end of this bill period, all the bills die that haven't passed, that haven't gotten out of committee. So the desperation is beginning to set in.
Right.
And it's an election year, so if you have a big headline because your bill is so bad, it's not all bad, I guess, for those people.
This time of year, yeah.
Currently, Gene, I'm personally following about 44 bills. It's hard to keep up with these. I don't know how you do it.
Well, I have a staff that helps me at Sacramento, which is really lucky because, we have 2 houses, bills that are going through the Assembly as well as bills that are going through the Senate at the same time. Sometimes they're the same bill. Sometimes there's one sentence difference. They're all on their own time schedule. Sometimes they get wharfed, which they call wharfing is when they allow it to skip all the rules and all the committees and just suddenly apply on the floor, and then you have to vote. And it didn't go through any of the vetting process.
How do you find time to read all the bills? Is it your committee that reads them all and then they give you a recommendation?
Well, everybody specializes in what their committee, what bills are coming through their committee. So I read the majority of bills that come through my committees, and I have about 6 committees, so that's a lot right there. But then we also have two analysis, one that is sort of a general analysis everybody gets, and one that's a Republican analysis that the Republicans get, and then you can compare those. But for me, the most important thing that I check is who's called into my district and Sacramento office to say they like these bills or those bills or they don't, because I want to hear what my local people have to say, and it means a great deal to me about what they think is beneficial for our area, which is not.
So constituents really do have a say as to what goes on up there.
They do. They fax, they email, they call, and in addition, they can send letters for testimony, which is the most important way, because when these analyses come out, they have to list who's for it and who's against it. Anybody who's sent in a letter for or against is listed there, so you can pull it up and you can look and see if, your city or your county or some regular person or regular business is for or against that bill.
Our in-studio guest, State Senator Jean Fuller.
Jean, do you have any idea how many bills were done this year?
I really don't yet, because we're not done yet. The final deadline is about, I think, 2 weeks away. And at that time, we'll know how many of the bills got through. One year, counting both houses, there were 7,000 bills that got through.
7,000 new pieces of legislation.
Well, those were all things that were processed. They didn't all pass because they didn't get through the vetoing part, some of them. But it tells you that every year there's way too many laws that have a way to get processed.
Do you think with the change in the length of time an individual can be on the Senate or the Assembly, that's going to have a reduction in bills because people don't have to get their name on a bill within a 2 or 4 year period?
Well, the legislation I put forward was that senators would be limited to 10 bills or less over a 2-year period, because now they can have 40 or more if they're committee chair. I think that's what makes the difference.
But is that going to pass?
Unfortunately, no. Because it didn't. But I think that's the issue that has to happen. People being there shorter or longer doesn't necessarily change their behavior. They can put 50 bills on it a day.
Well, you've been there, 8 years now?
Yes.
And you have how many bills over an 8-year period?
Well, I have probably more than most Republicans, but I have about 34 or 35 bills that I actually have my name on and passed.
Because you've got people up there that have that many in a year. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, most individuals don't have that many in a year because they don't get through, but most of them do have, like, some bills that are really frivolous that get right to the end.
Crazy. We'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180.